the title was self-explanatory. This time I want you to pay attention to the title. I am writing causing impediment removal. Do you see, I have not written impediment removal. I have said to cause the impediment to go away. Let us understand why. If I have a problem, whose accountability it should be to solve that problem? Snehemai has a problem. Snehemai, right? So if now I will ask you again, Srishti, if developers have a problem, who should remove the impediments? Scrum Master's accountability is to cause the impediment removal, not necessarily be there and solve all the problems and the developers will sit there like a baby. Not that way. They cause. So let us first understand what is impediment. So what is impediment in English? Problem, something which hinders your progress. So anything which hinders your progress. So usually in my practice, I have seen two types of impediments. Some are impediments which are internal to the Scrum team. So these are called internal. So I'll give you one example. If within the Scrum team I am having an issue and I know that he has a solution but he is not willing to help me. Sorry, I'm just pulling your leg. But then what will the Scrum Master do in that case? And help us talk with each other. Internal, but it will be relatively easy, right? It is within the same team. The solution is within the same team. So internal are maybe internal conflicts, or maybe internal skills issue that we need to do. Anybody else can think of any other internal behavioral issue? Yeah. So maybe some behavior issues. But the bigger impediments which bother us are those which are outside our control. They are called organizational impediment. So what I mean by organizational impediment, there was this team I was working with and the same team where I told you the defect story. We decided to go with test automation. Now for test automation you need a tool. For tool you need licenses. For licenses you need money. Do you think my management said, yes, Snehemai, take the license. Do you think so? No. What would have happened? They said no. Then our Scrum Master stepped in, helped us negotiate, helped us, asked us that if that tool doesn't come, what happens? Automation doesn't have impact. Talk with managers. Then the managers asked, what is the impact? Sir, defects. That means delayed milestone, that means delayed money. Management will approve, right? So the facilitation was outside of our team. And these are the bigger ones. So these are called organizational impediment. So let me list it down. Here it is infrastructure is what I will write, because the way I had about tool licenses, it could be about servers, whatever. Can you think of any such other impediments which are outside of the tool and more at an organization level?
Availability of the stakeholders.
Availability of the stakeholders. Very nice. So stakeholder availability is one challenge. Anything else?
Cross-team dependency.
Cross-team dependencies, and the teams do not have culture of cooperation. Correct? So collaboration could be an organizational issue. Think of it, yesterday we were talking about those heroes. Many of the time our HR is encouraging star of the month, right? What happens? Do you think your HR does that? Your HR doesn't, they are good, they are already agile. But sometimes I have seen in TCS, we had this star of the month prizes. What was happening? That was encouraging the stars become more starry, and they wanted to come to rescue on that white horse, and that's why they kept the knowledge to themselves. So we needed the organization structure itself to change. HR changes are big changes. Any other such organization changes you can think?
Policies.
I'm just writing HR, then culture. You said policies. Could you explain a little bit?
When say the hikes which they give to
The policies, the HR itself, you said. Okay, yeah. The appraisal and compensation policies.
sometimes even the work from home and work from office.
Different policies should be there, right? Because to work in Agile, you need people to have the freedom. Otherwise, where is the empowerment and self-management? The culture also we talked about. Do you think a lot of these things, especially the painful changes like HR changes, culture changes, they require our organizational structure itself to change? It needs to change our philosophy. This thing is called organizational design change. So organizational design change is again of two types. First is where you change the structure of the organization. Can you think of few changes where the structure of organization needs to change? Right now we discussed one department which needs to change. Which is that? HR. What else needs to change? That person is not there in Scrum at all, so we need to have somebody else. But anything else that you think? So the structure of the organization, which is more PM oriented, needs to be more team oriented, right? So the reporting structures will have to change. What else? How about your legal? So there are these kind of structural changes in organization. Now there are thought process or philosophy changes. Will there be any? So let us list down a few. What are the philosophy changes? What will need to change?
Old standards.
Rules.
Standards. Old standards.
Roles.
Standards.
Old standards.
Ways of working, yes. When your ways of working change, there is a one big animal which changes. Your management style. Will it need to change? Anything else? You said role, which I will put here in HR. Anything else which needs to change about the philosophy? Management style will need to change, roles will change.
Rules.
Rules.
Micromanagement.
Micromanagement. The management style will have a lot of stuff, right? You don't want dictating, you don't want micromanaging, you want leaders who serve. And my friends, this is going to be the most difficult change that you will bring into. Now I have a question for you. The guy who was on the beach, he gets to be doing this. So now is he on the beach any longer? As a Scrum Master is accountable to help his Scrum team get better. To do the team better, we need to have this organizational design change. And because of that, a Scrum Master is tasked with the accountability of causing this design change. And causing this design change is definitely not easy. This is going to be one of the most difficult things you will do in your careers. So what will be the first thing you will do when you are trying to get institute a change in organization? What can be the first thing?
Feedback. We need to give feedback.
The first thing will be feedback. So causing changes, causing organization change. First thing you will give feedback. But do you think people, especially managers, will listen to your feedback? Then what do you need to do?
Go to HR. We need to go to HR.
But and do what?
Convince.
Convince. So to do convince. If I have to convince you of anything, what is the first thing I will do? I will tell you the urgency or the impact. Unless you believe into a change, nothing is going to change. So create the sense of urgency. Create urgency. Now, say you have created urgency. Everybody believes there should be change. And you tell them, agile transformation, na sir, it will take 3 years. Do you think anybody will be ready to start? Then what do we have to do? We have to do some quick wins. Break it up. Create some quick wins. So, this is what you do. We plan quick wins. Maybe start slowly. What I have found works in my teams is start, don't tell them they are doing agile, etc. Sir, Mr. Customer, can we meet every 2 weeks? Which customer will say no? Start meeting. You should start showing result. Once you show it for say 3 months, we were doing sprint review. But now we want to start, meeting you for the planning. Mr. PO, can we do that planning? Slowly start. Start quick wins, show benefits. Once you show the quick wins, then roll out the changes. And there is one last very important step. Do you know sometimes there are changes which somebody starts. Hey, let us do this. We all agree it helps. And then that person goes away and the change goes down. Have you seen this? Why this happens is it already remained that person's change. It never became your change. So the last step for any change or any transformation to succeed is to make the change theirs. Make it a part of the culture. You use that word culture change. And culture will be a very difficult and the last thing that changes. So root it in culture. So this is the most important step to be taken for a long-lasting change, for a change which persists. And my friends, all of the 2 days what we have been teaching you is to make you ready to start slowly doing this in your organization. This is not a person on beach. This is not a lightweight or even ideal person. Think of a leader you can imagine. You will remember the leader who helped you grow, who took you along, not the leader who cracked the whip. So that is what we have been trying to do in the last 2 days. My job was not only to teach you some structure. I taught you that. I know you would learn that. But the job was to help you understand his philosophy. And if I have done that, I have created an army of 30 people who will take away the change. Those 30 people might be make it 90, 100. And that is how we will grow this leadership style which we saw yesterday. Comes from our own essence. So any questions please?